A very good evening to Jamaicans. Very good evening to our loyal subscribers and followers on this channel we call the Deep Dive TV. Today in Halfway Tree Square, the Jamaicans for Justice, a group that is wholly funded by foreign interests, including George Soros, an American billionaire, United European Union, and other groups that we are still searching to determine the source of funding for Jamaicans for Justice. We are still trying to determine in our investigation why they are funding a group in our country that is destined to destabilize our population, destabilize our economy, divide our people, and to demoralize our police department. One thing we do know, and I have stated categorically on numerous occasions, that as Jamaicans, we have to be wiser. We have to understand that Jamaica is a small Black-run country, and that is something that you don't see a lot of Black-run nations that are doing well. According to a recent World Bank report, the Jamaican economy is a model for the Caribbean. I would hurriedly say that the Jamaican economy is a model for the entire world, considering the resources we have at our disposal. Having said that, crime in our country is at an all-time, is lower than in the past 25 years. Inflation is down to record lows. Unemployment, record low unemployment. Infrastructure development, record high. Our young people are finding work. Jamaica is doing well, considering that only a few years ago, the entire world was plunged into a dangerous pandemic that took millions of lives. Jamaica lost its share of lives. Yet, our economy under this administration has bounced back. No administration is without fault. And I personally have criticized this administration because initially I did not believe, I did not think that this administration was paying as much attention as it needed to the question of crime in our country. And so today, as we have seen this foreign-funded group that is deliberate about its intentions to destabilize our country, I would like to read some numbers for you. I'm going to ask you to bear a little with me. So as the Jamaicans for Justice, I call them Jamaicans for Injustice, and I will tell you why I call them that. But as they asked people to show up in Halfway Tree Square wearing black for what they call extrajudicial police killings, there are people in Jamaica that are starting to come to their senses, and so people showed up wearing blue in support of the police force, including our Prime Minister is right here, showed up in blue to support our police officers and the fight they're waging against these transnational criminals. The question is, where is the leader of the opposition, the British-born Mark Golding, that wants to be Prime Minister of Jamaica? Where is he Or is he satisfied in having Jamaicans for Justice go out and fight and wage this campaign for him so he can win an election whenever the Prime Minister decides to call it? Where is he with the security forces? There is no middle ground. The Prime Minister stepped forward as a leader and he showed what he was wearing. You all see him. A full blue suit standing with our police officers. The leader of the opposition is nowhere to be found. And I tell you why. Because the Jamaicans for Justice is fighting a rearguard action on behalf of the PNP in support of criminals in our country. And just for those of you who would tend to criticize facts, regardless of how much data we present to you, you have something negative to say. Let me just say this to you. The most fundamental right a person has is the right to life, the God-given right to live their lives. And no one should take that life away. And so the fight that the constabulary wages and has to wage and must wage if we are to retain our country is toward the sanctity of life. Wars have casualties. But before I go any further, there are several oversight agencies set up to deal with alleged police excesses to the extent that they exist. In 2010, under Bruce Golding, INDECOM was formed. INDECOM has an independent mandate, unobstructed mandate, to investigate not some shootings, all shootings that involve members of the security forces. Not just shootings, but allegations of force. It is up to there. There's an entire agency dedicated and mandated to do that very thing. So when Jamaicans for Justice, and it's not just, by the way, not just INDECOM, there are several other agencies, groups that do investigate allegations of police excess. So when Jamaicans for Justice come out, despite all of the foregone, and try to stir up dissent, try to stir up division in our country, we must understand what they're trying to do here. We must understand what is going on here. This is not about body-worn cameras. This is not about body-worn cameras. It's not about transparency. It's a red herring. This is a red herring. And behind me is Michael Jackson, Jezebel extraordinaire, liar extraordinaire, who is doing the bidding of her foreign handlers. Make no mistake about it. That is a demon in a black skin doing the bidding of overseas handlers. That's who she is. That is what she's doing. And unless she does that, the foreign funds will dry up. It will simply dry up. No, they can't have that happening, right? Now, before I give you the homicide numbers and how important it is that we understand that our first business, our first urgency must be to the victims of crime, to deal with those people who would be victims to marauding murderers. A small nation that is doing well is always a threat to the world status, the world order. And so measures are put in place to topple what's happening in Jamaica, to stop it. Because small nations like Jamaica, especially black-run nations, are not supposed to do well. They're not. They're supposed to be struggling, crime-ridden, and dependent on rich nations and their agencies for grants, loans, and to grovel at their feet for crumbs. Under the present administration, that has not been happening. And that has not gone unnoticed. And so the level of anti-police vitriol is being ginned up as a way, as a means of creating turmoil. Because to those who know, you know, that small black-run countries, that black-run countries are not supposed to do well. And one of the methodologies employed is to turn the people against each other, turn brothers against brothers, sisters against sisters. And in Jamaica, that's exactly what is happening. And they're using people of color to do their dirty work. But this is not something that many Jamaicans are able to see, to discern. And no matter how much we tell them, they lack the capacity to understand that that is what's happening. In 2009, I'm going to give you statistics for the last 15 years. In 2009, Jamaica recorded 1,683 homicides. In 2010, 1,447. 2011, 1,133. 2012, 1,102. 2013, 1,202. 2014, 1,005. 2015, 1,209. 2016, 1,354. 2017, 1,647. 2018, 1,289. 2019, 1,340. 2020, 1,333. 2021, 1,474. 2022, 1,508. 2023, 1,393. 2024, 1,141. This is a grand total of 20,058 once living, breathing Jamaicans who died at the hands of Jamaica's gangsters. Now, many of these who have passed and gone on have never, ever elicited a single thought from Jamaicans for Justice. Jamaicans for Justice doesn't care about their right to life, the fundamental right that they have, that they had to life. And even if some of these people were less than perfect as all of us are, they deserved and had a fundamental right to live. But those victims, and I guarantee you there are more people who died because they got injured that are not in this data, in this set of data. Every single person has a right to life. And as a country, we must be more focused on the right of preserving the right of the innocent than we are the energy we employ in defense of the guilty. What kind of a nation employs its energy wholly in support of those who would fundamentally deprive the innocent of their right to their most basic right to life? That God-given right to life. How can we focus, and how can there be a focus on the rights of murderers when we have innocent people who are dying at the hands of these thugs. The devil comes in all different forms. Know it when you see it. Know it when you see it. Any person, any organization, any person or any group of persons who would line up in support of criminals, as Jamaicans for Injustice has, and its leader, Michael Jackson, be it understood that there's no three ways. There only it's a binary choice. There's no gray area. It's either you're for law and order or you're for the criminals. That goes for both political parties. And so when Michael Jackson and her band of anti-Jamaican uh, reactionaries decided to protest, be it understood that they're traitors to Jamaica. They are not loyalists. They are traitors to our country. And those who would seek office, who would seek to hide, who would seek to not show their colors, those who would seek to pretend like this is not an important issue, and would just hope that this crisis will go away. It's not going to go away. It won't. Because sometimes silence speaks louder than any word. The Prime Minister of our country, whether you like him or not, has done the remarkable thing today. He showed out. We're in blue as our police officers. We don't have a perfect police force. But who is perfect? We seek to perfect our small nation. But that is a transient goal. It's not an attainable goal because you can't get a perfect nation out of imperfect people. There is no such thing as perfection in this world. But to those who would sit on the sidelines and criticize the force, tell me what agency that you know of that purges itself. When you talk about police officers do this and police officers do that, tell me who arrests those police officers. The Jamaica Constabulary Force has always been a force for good. Always, from its inception, has always been a force for good. So many young men and women have given their lives in service to our country, and they deserve that their memory be rewarded with respect. And when you look on social media and you see those in government who want to be in government, I'm sorry, who have things to say in support of criminals, you have criminals now running for a seat in parliament, convicted drug dealers running to be elevated to our sacred parliament. And the leader of the opposition, Mark Golding, hiding like a damn rat and hoping that this blows over, and that Jamaicans for Justice will wage the battle on his behalf. And to you police officers, I know some of you. I'm speaking directly to you right now. The People's National Party, you've seen for yourself, not a single one of them showed up and stood up today in support of you? Not a single one. Not even damn Steve McGregor, who was behind me at the police academy. Where are you, Steve McGregor? You're running for a parliamentary seat in Western Kingston, Steve. Where are you? You're a police officer. You're a senior superintendent. Where are you, Steve McGregor? Where are you? I'm calling you out, Steve. I thought you were a decent cop. Where are you? Why do you not stand up for the men and women, many of whom you served with? It's cowardly to cower. It's cowardly to cower as you seek office, Steve. Where are you to stand with your colleagues and say, no, what you're doing is wrong? What you're doing is wrong. These are the people I've served with are good people. Where are you? If Mark Golin doesn't want to stand with the Jamaica Constabulary Force, Steve McGregor, where are you? I am naming you, Steve, because I know you. Every country must have the rule of law. There are many Jamaicans who are living abroad who must obey laws. And they go to Jamaica, they disrespect our police, they pretend like they are above the law and that nobody should speak to them. I need for this police force, this Jamaica Constabulary Force, to hold your ground, use your handcuffs, and anytime they come down and break the law, throw them in jail. Because the things they do and would like to do down there, they cannot do in the United States. They can't do it in England. They can't do it in Canada. So do not let them do it down there. And stay strong, stay steadfast, members of the JCF, because a lot of us are standing with you. This has been the deep dive. Good night.